Good morning everybody, it's Chris here from Serene Education with the 4 Majors Analysis Update for the 19th of May 2011. Just looking at the Euro against US dollar on our CTC strategy template. Let's have a look at the daily. You'll notice that we've had 3 days of consecutive up day. This coming after price has tested a price support and resistance level at 1405. Quite a strong one. And now we're testing the underside of this pair, or this price swing. Just draw a nice straight line. So the underside of the price swing, roughly thereabouts, in and around the 14,300 mark. So are we seeing a clear breakout, pullback, and are we going to see a continuation to the downside? Ideally, indecision yesterday, we want to see a decision candle today if possible, so bearish engulfing or a breakout to the upside would definitely confirm that this was just a greater pullback on the greater trend. If you took an extension of this move, we tested the 61.8% fib area. Could we expect a breakout to the top here to see continuation, or are we going to see a bearish engulfing to confirm that we're going to see downside movement again to at least the 1405 mark again? Intraday, you just put in those 14,300s. There we go. That's going to be your guideline today on all these. 14,300. Trading above that will obviously confirm upside movement. Trading below that would still confirm bearishness, and we should be looking for obviously setups to the downside. As you can see, all our intraday charts are still showing us trading well below the area. We're seeing a definite resistance level at this, and the CTC is sell on our 5, but yet again CTC on 15-30 minute hourly 4 hour still positive. So consolidation for this pair. You'll notice on an hourly we're testing the 200 period moving average now, so just in the outside of that, be aware that on the 4 hour time frame, 14,250 mark is a bounce area or previous support, or the 50-day support for this. And you'll notice that looking at this pair, we are now trading above the 50 period moving average. So we had resistance at the 50, pulled back, then a breakout of the 50. Are we seeing this as a consolidation band to the 50? And then in the next couple of hours we're going to see price move on from that. So this is the problem. We need to see a break of 14,300, and we need to see price still trading above 1425.50 going into the latter part of today. 4 hour time frame, you'll notice that we have an uptrend, higher swings, and as long as price holds above 14,2500, then there's a good possibility this could just be the breakout, pullback, and then the continuation to the upside. Failure to find support at 14,2500 would see price close lower, and obviously we would see attempt at lower swings, ideally at 14,2100. Then there's another one at roughly the 14,00 mark, and ultimately way down here at 1406. So price got to stay above 14,2500 to see potential for further upside movement. Failures to do so would obviously see the downside being breached. Ideally, a break above 14,300 would definitely give us a signal to go long, and we should be looking at opportunities for at least prior swing highs to roughly around the 14,200 mark. So keep that in mind, guys. Next up is the sterling against US dollar. Let's have a look at the daily time frame. You'll notice this is still swinging to the downside. Your lower swings on this pair, broke below, pulled back to the underside of the 50, and yesterday we saw price continue to the downside, closing lower than the previous low. So notice there was hesitation here. This is almost like a morning star pattern. We're expecting this, ideally, if this is a true morning star, then we want to a bullish engulfing on the prior on indecision, but we didn't get that, and that failed to break above 16,300 and trade higher. So this was a ceiling level at the 50-period moving average, and sure enough, price was dragged to the downside, and now we're trading lower to the downside of that. So momentum is shifting to the downside. Ultimately, our target's going to be 1600. So let's look at that today for shorting opportunities intraday. CTC is, however, on this time frame is still bullish. And as long as it remains above the 1600 mark, then we're still long-term bullish because the 200-period moving average is still below us. So, intraday, let's have a look at the 4-hour. 4-hour, you can see the swings to the downside, 50-period moving average coming into play. The 200-period moving average is still above us. And we've got swing lows. Let's have a look. There was a price support area and a breakout of it. And roughly the 16,2500 mark, and we're now trading below that. Notice the momentum to the downside is there, ceiling level to the downside. So if we look at price, it's got to stay below this line here in order to be still considered bearish. So ideally, if price can stay under the swing here at 1618. Let's have a look here, 1618. So if I put that into my charts on the lower time frame, 1618, there we go. As long as price is trading below that and forms another swing to the downside, then we should obviously look for further downside movement. However, if price pulled back again, then we don't want it seeing it trading harder than 16,2500. Otherwise, we're looking at a clear consolidation or for this time frame, and you could see possibility of an upside move to at least the 50-period moving average. So 16,2500, that is your resistance level for today. Price needs to still keep trading below that in order to give you an indication of further downside movement for this pair. Hourly, you could put that in 16,2500. So you can see the pullback on this time frame, testing prior support at this level. So 1618, there we go. Let me put that in. Voila. So lower swings, CTC is quite indecisive after a downside movement. Just be aware of that. And now price, as you can see during the latter part of yesterday, we saw pullback and the squeeze, and this morning, as of 7 a.m. GMT this morning, we've seen price break out of that range and closing lower now. CTC has gone in our favor. We've got to wait for this hourly candle to close, but ideally our first target would be the bottom at 1500 if that was the case, and we should obviously be looking for further shorting opportunities for this pair. Next pair up is the US dollar against Swiss franc. Let's have a look at the daily time frame. You can see we're trading below a prior swing and support and resistance, and you can see noticeably that the trend direction is still to the downside for this pair. CTC is well extended. We're now trading below a 20-period moving average, but we're also trading at a prior resistance level to the upside. 2 days of consecutive ceiling level, and now we're finding a small support indecision, very indecisive candle stick formation. Here again, we need to see price trading below this range. Yesterday's range, the low of 8786. Asian market trading low of 877 will definitely give us an indication of further downside movement. CT extended, so let's have a look at the intraday to see if there's any downside movement. So we know that we have a ceiling level at this here at it's around about 8785. So let's put those in on our charts to the downside. Need to be trading below that. You can see this morning we had a failed breakout. Trading at the moment now, you can see price on a 4-hour chart is seeing a bullish engulfing. This candle still has not yet closed. We have to wait for the close of that candle to give us a definite confirmation that this is now a strong support with that candle engulfing. Notice that there's a lot of hesitation around this level. Obviously, You can see that we have lower swings around this area, and we should see a confirmation now. Is it a true definite break to the downside, or are we expecting a possibility of a potential to the upside? So as it stands now, we've got to wait for the close of this candle. However, if price is still trading higher than the swing, just be aware that on the 4-hour time frame we've got a very strong support and resistance level at 0.8820. Still trading below all the moving average and the CTC, so bearish nonetheless. We have to see a definite break above 8820 as well as the moving averages at this time frame to definitely give us a confirmation that we're seeing price revert, and we're seeing a bullish sentiment creeping in the 4-hour time frame. So as it stands now, let's have a look at 14.87. I just want to get a clear indication. So 8785. So if I go to my hourly chart, 8785, I just put all these lines, so that's going to be my strong support level for this time frame. Trades above that, all the swings, then we're definitely looking at a change in market sentiment. There we go. Just be aware, as I mentioned, the 200 period moving average is on the support level, price support level, there at 8830. So keep it in mind. You don't want to be faked into the markets just for the sake of it, only for price to revert to the downside. You want to see a clear indication of support, so a break of the price swing. In this case, the major one, looking at roughly the 8830 mark, would definitely give an indication of that. So as it stands at the moment now, looking to see a support level at the 8785 mark. A failure of that to the downside would obviously see further shorting opportunities to roughly, if I'm not mistaken, the 8710 mark at least. If price is able to find support at this level, you'll notice on hourly we've seen a bullish engulfing pattern, but we're now testing the trend line and we're still trading below all the moving averages. So we need to see a confirmation break of the prior swing, major swing to the downside, in this case at least above 8830 to definitely give us a confirmation buy signal. If we don't get that, then we should still be looking for opportunities to the downside. Last pair of the day is US dollar against Japanese yen. Let's have a look at the daily time frame. Notice this huge extension to the downside. However, price found a support at the 80 mark and was able to bounce up. In doing so, trading higher and forming swing highs, and then we saw price testing the underside of the 8150 mark prior day on Monday. Then Tuesday we saw price fell to break and trade higher, and Wednesday's candle, yesterday's candle, we saw price revert to the downside. Then the US session was able to see it breach the higher end, and now we're trading above that. So as long as price can find support above the 8150 mark, then obviously we could see a consolidation breakout, and then an upside move still to the upside look variable for this pair. However, on the CTC, because it's lagging, we're still getting a negative signal overall. Ideally, we want to see it trading above the 8200 mark, because then it will be trading above the 2 intraday or smaller time frame moving averages, and then we could look for possible further upside movements. Be aware that 8150 now going into today would be classified as a support area. So if we can just put that into our charts, 8150, there we go. Prior support, resistance, and breakout now. So notice the higher swings on this time frame. For a number of days we've seen swing high, swing high, swing high, swing high. That trend line now would definitely give us an indication. If we saw a breakout to the downside, as long as it's trending above 8100, or in this case 8110, would still be positive. You can just see the 200 period moving average not too far off at the 82 mark. So I mentioned ideally we want to be trading above 8200. If we can trade above 8200, then would probably give us a better confirmation of a buy signal for this pair. Otherwise, this is just going to be a consolidation taking place. So got to trade or hang above 81.50. You'll notice that there is a small breakout ceiling at this level here. There we go. So 81.75, the ceiling level. This can be your support on a 4 hour. As long as it stays above that area or thereabouts, then we could expect another retest of 81, the 81.75 mark quite soon. Failure to do so and break low, we'd see a possible reattempt of this trend line to the upside, anywhere within the 81.20, 81.30 mark for this pair. So ideally, we would like to see it trading higher than 81.50. Failure to do so, you can see price revert down to 81.20 or 30. Ideally, you'd like to see a break and close higher than the 81.80 mark for further opportunities to the upside, and then our next target would be roughly around the 82.330 mark, which is roughly in conjunction with the 200 period moving average for this time frame. So looking at a 30-minute chart, as long as it stays above 81.50, then we could see a reattempt of the highs at 81.80. A break of 81.80 and trading higher would definitely give us a confirmation of further upside movement. A failure to do so would see this being a ceiling level, and we could see price revert to the downside. If that was the case, then we'd look at this prior trend line, the 200 period moving average trading below, as a possible target if this is the case. So a break and close lower than 81.45 miles for this time frame will definitely see a chance for downside movement. However, if it can still stay in this band here and trade higher during the course of the US session or later this morning on European session and break 81.80, then we should be looking for opportunities to the upside. That's it for today, guys. Hope you have a fantastic trading day. Make sure you follow the rules of the CTC. Wait for definite confirmations either side. Look for support and resistance and breaks of trends or trend direction setups, and make sure your money management fits those criteria, and most importantly, trade serene.